Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. 1984 and 2019. The calendar years show a marked change, but the thinking process hasn't undergone a change. 1984, a dystopia by George Orwell, showed a government where there was a minister of plenty. 2019, Justin Trudeau, leader of the Liberal Party, a lover of the dictators, whether they be Chinese or they be Cuban, has a new Ministry of Middle Class Prosperity. So the Minister of Plenty is transcreated into Minister of Middle Class Plenty. And what is shocking is not that the dystopic ideas have found an expression. What is shocking is that nobody has given attention to the fact that middle-aged class is a very amorphous class. And as a matter of fact, even the minister appointed for this job could not well define what a middle class is. According to her, any family which can send a child to play hockey belongs to middle class. Wow! Is that the criteria? Have the economists, sociologists, and human scientists who have been working the ages over to define the parameters of middle class, upper class, low class been wrong? What an easy way. If you can send a child to play hockey, then you belong to middle class. And pray tell me, what about the lower classes? Do their children not go to hockey? Have all the hockey players belong to the middle class? If you study the history of the sport, you will find it is not so. As a matter of fact, class has nothing to do with sending a child. If your child is capable, he might be playing hockey because his parents are saving enough, cutting down on necessities and sending a child to play hockey. Or some philanthropic charitable organization may be helping them. Or somebody gives a scholarship for the needy and the child has been able to avail of that scholarship. So this definition by the Honorable Minister, well, that doesn't gel with me. I don't know whether it gels with you or not. Another point which has to be considered is that the economy is more important, the economic parameters are more important, and the social parameters are more important. The middle class is normally is supposed to be the backbone of any society. 90% of creativity comes from the middle classes. And that is because they are the inheritors of a certain culture, the culture of entrepreneurship, the culture of creativity, ingenuity, and innovation. But then there are no hard and fast lines dividing lower class, middle class, and upper class. And then middle class itself is very amorphous, basically. There are no hard defined lines, as I said earlier. Even middle class is lower middle class, upper middle class. So, which middle class is the honorable minister going to make more plentiful, more wealthy, more prosperous? Secondly, is a government job to ensure an equitable growth or not? That's a question, a fundamental question that faces us. And if it's an equitable growth, why not have a minister for prosperity? And that we already have. When we say the economic development and the minister for innovation, they are meant for prosperity. So why this duplication? Is this a reward for the services rendered? Well, People are saying that it's because she was very helpful in SNC Levelin case. Is that so? Well, there's nothing wrong with that as well. People keep on paying for the services done. And if she has obliged Justin Trudeau, she is very well entitled to have some benefit. But this concept of middle class, which she has not been able to define, and economists have been at pains to really identify middle class, is something which doesn't meet the parameters of good governance. A. It defies the logic of the governance which is equal opportunity for all. However, there are exceptions. The vulnerable sections of society. Here in Canada, for example, the indigenous people, the native Indians, they have a prior claim on plenty rather than the middle class which has come up. And then, secondly, the absolutely people at the lowest rung of society, they are entitled to some entitlements, not the middle class. Thirdly, middle class doesn't like handouts. This is a cultural issue which the government is ignoring. Middle class is extremely self-respecting. Middle class is extremely self-reliant, and that is why they are the fountainhead of creativity, of ingenuity, of innovation. And being self-reliant, being self-respecting, being able to look after themselves and look after other people, they do not need handouts. As a matter of fact, when you give handouts, then you are sapping their energy, their efficiency, their capability. They don't want anything on platter, but you give them on platter and you destroy them. And when you destroy this fabric of the middle class, you are destroying the country. As I said earlier, they are the backbones of any society. They are the people who make the country grow. Today, the bureaucracy, at least 80% belongs to middle class. In army, police, all services, they belong to middle class. The entrepreneurs belong to middle class and they jump to the upper class. So why are you talking of thinking even that you can do something for the middle class when you have got to do something for the lower classes? Your effort should be to bring up the lower classes up to the middle class and not ensure that the middle classes go down to the lower class because they don't need it. They have sufficiently inbuilt capability of harnessing their capabilities, their energies, their full capabilities for their growth and the growth of the country. Thirdly, is it not against the right to have equality? If you are giving some special dispensation to the middle class, are you not discriminating against the lower classes? Does it not violate the charter rights of those lower classes who are urging even now, without the special dispensation, are at the lowest rung of society? As I said, the activism has to start at the bottom. And here we are putting the cart before the horse. Our priorities seem to be skewed. Another point which is important is we have talked economically it's not useful, rather it's harmful. Socially it's harmful, culturally it's harmful, and then most important, socio-politically, it is possible to create class war. You would ask me how? Hey, just imagine you belong to a lower middle class or lower class, And you find that the people who are better off than you, special programs are being formulated and implemented for those people. Would it not cause heartburning in you? And when there's heartburning, when there's jealousy, when there's a sense of entitlement to the other, it causes blood to boil. It causes resentment. It causes anger. And all these capabilities, all these qualities rather, are active ingredients of social disorder. As a matter of fact, this would generate class war, and if not class war, at least a class hatred, and would be divisive as far as the society is concerned. Should we do it? I don't think so. And if we don't have to do it, then why is the government in office, the Liberal government, bent upon doing it? Another point, it goes against the very concept of Liberal Party. The Liberal Party was formulated to ensure the development of liberal ideas. When you divide a society and pick up the middle one, you are dividing the society, not unifying it. Another very important point which we should not ignore is we say Minister of Middle Class Prosperity. Are we concerned with the prosperity of the country or the prosperity of a certain class? Normally, people say that 1% of the top has 90% of the country's wealth. It's a reality. Then you want to divide that remaining percentage into middle class and lower middle class. Because when you make a portfolio, a department for the middle class, that means you're not going to touch the upper class. They'll remain wealthy as they are. So the balance of the piece of the cake of prosperity has to be divided between the lower class and the middle class. And that means the poorer will become still poorer because you are taking the cut of the pie from them and adding it to the middle class who don't need it. So are you not increasing the disparities in income? Or is it your motive? Create an issue so that at the time of next election, you can exploit that issue to your advantage. People ordinarily forget the cause of any problem. They are more involved with the problem. And you can easily come and say at that time, well, look here, we want to solve this problem. So, a typical politician's formula, create a problem and then come as a messiah, as a savior to solve the problem. Well, my hats off, or shall I say, turbans off, Right Honorable Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. If that is your thought, it is very divisive and very ill-directed. There is a certain undercurrents in creating this portfolio. And I said, I foresee in this basically a variation of Orwell's Minister of Plenty. But then imagine, Orwell was better. He said Mr. Plenty, and that means for everybody. It did not specify one class. So Justin Trudeau, our beloved Honorable Prime Minister, seems to have out Orwell. He seems to go one step ahead the novel and show that he is capable of original thinking and improving upon all the ideas that are anti-humanity, anti-equity, anti-justice. I have no complain. I belong to middle class. I'll be happy if there's further prosperity. But is it in the interest of the society and the country? I leave it to you to think about it. We are carried away by the emotions, but a dispassionate thinking would tell us that the creation of the portfolio, the special portfolio, is fraught with danger. Danger to dignity of the middle classes, danger to the self-reliance and creativity of the middle classes, dangerous to creating a potential race relations going from bad to worse, and igniting us, at least sparking ill will towards each other. Do we want that? I don't think so. You tell me, what is your idea? Do you agree with me? Or do you think Canada really needs a minister for middle class prosperity, and that middle class which she cannot define herself? Wow, I really am amazed. Think about it. Thank you.